ago, I would have afterwards said, I wish I recorded this. Here is Alchemist Leads, trained by Mark Dozwa. So our business partner, Mark Dozwa, put this together, and him and Ron have been working on the back end of this, along with some of our other team members for the last few months. Mark, take it away. What does Alchemist Leads do?
So basically, it's the follow-up system that everybody needs to connect and close with their leads. So when you first log in, you have an option to download the app. You can connect your Google My Business, your Facebook, because you can actually track and run ads through the CRM. It's all run through Stripe. You have your dashboard where you can see all of your respective leads right in here, which part of the funnel they'll be at. So once they drop in and they move along the process, all these here will change depending on what you have done with that lead. All your conversations that you speak with people will come up right inside here. And there's many things you can do inside this part of it. You can, their addresses, their phone numbers will come up, and there's all kind of actions. You can send emails from here. You can send text messages from here. All your manual actions that you do will come in here. You can set them up, and then they automatically fire off once you upload your leads and set them into a workflow. You can connect your calendars, and you can have multiple calendars. So different team members can have calendars here, and all your appointments will come up on your calendars. Your list of contacts, you can actually upload a CSV file, and you will get all your contacts in this area, and you can do different actions here. This is your
13,000 records. Is that our email list? That's ours?
Yes.
Sounds familiar.
Yes.
Excellent.
Here's your opportunities. So once a new lead comes in, it'll list here, and depending on what you do with them, they'll be in different places here. So if they requested a booking to talk to you, they'll show up here. You can sort it by different campaigns, who owns, if you have different team members on your team inside your CRM, because you can add your whole staff in there, unlimited amount of people.
Well, let's give Mark Dozwa a round of applause. I dropped the link in the chat. The link is alchemistleads.com. And we're working on it obviously for the last few months, but it's something that Ron and I have had in our heart since 2018. We actually used to own a company called Agent Alchemist, and it was a lead business. So we didn't give them a CRM, just a CRM. We used to give agents leads. We would go and spend money on Facebook ads, and for $250 a month, they'd get 25, 30 leads per month just flowing into their CRM. And we built it off of a different program. We kind of tied a bunch of things together, and it worked really well. The problem was, and this is something to think about with your business, is we were marketing it to the wrong people. We were marketing it to agents, and agents don't like paying for monthly leads. So we ended up shutting down the business because we had too many leads, and we couldn't find good real estate agents at the time to operate them all. I had 25 people on my team. I had 5 who were killers. It seemed like I couldn't send them enough leads, like they just kept taking them. But then I had 20 people who just didn't do anything. And those 20 people cost me a lot of money because I treated them all equally. I gave them all the same amount of leads as I gave my top players. And eventually my top players said they only wanted seller leads. So these were buyer leads at the time. With Alchemist Leads, these are seller leads. This is the holy grail. This is what everybody wants. We're currently not offering a service for us to provide the leads to you guys, but that is the progression. That is obviously what we'd like to do. Just like everything else we're doing, I'd love to be able to say I've automated the millionaire process, but hang with me long enough and I will. It just takes a little bit of time to automate figuring out what's going on inside people's heads. If that sounds complex or not. The system is really cool. Mark just absolutely crushed it. RVM, text message, Facebook message, email. You can actually call a lead. If you see a lead is hot right there in the system, you can just click the button and call them right then and there. The challenge that we had with salespeople is eliminating what I call bullshit minutes, where those minutes are just, I don't know what to do. Well, let me go get my phone. Like, you don't need to grab your phone. Like, just click the button and talk to somebody. So it eliminates a lot of the steps, which is one of the reasons I love Mojo Dialer. Just you plug it in, it just ran. So this power dialer doesn't run 3 at a time, it runs 1 at a time, but it only runs a hot list. It only runs from people who either you haven't contacted in a while, it knows automatically, or people you've flagged as you got a contact, or people who have responded back to you and somewhere in their campaign says it's time for a phone call. They've either texted you back or they've emailed you back. There's been some sort of response. So it's signaling that it's time to make a direct contact. Right now, it's very good. As we continue, me and Mark spend more time with even you as feedback from listening from you guys and your clients. As we spend more time with it, we're going to educate the AI. We're going to keep improving the conversations, improving the text messages, the Facebook messages, the RVM, ringless voicemail drop. That is you. You've got to put your voice on there. Does that make sense? We understand? we will provide a script for you so that you can know what to say on that call so that it's highly converting. Cool stuff, huh? This is the thing we would all be waiting for. Drop a list on and then follow up. Dorina did a training on follow up the other day. She kind of taught like strategy of how to do it. The CRM does everything that training was all about without you having to do it. It's like hiring a Dorina for your business. Hands to camera if you know everybody needs a Dorina in their business.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. And you know what? It's also like hiring a Ron Bowling for your business, because Ron used to do all of the connections, all the Zaps, the Zapiers, the Active Campaign, to ClickFunnels, to Zoho, to Zoom, linking it all up with Calendly, with Google Calendar. We have a calendar built into the platform so you can do it all right within. So all those connections that Ron used to make for me, he doesn't have to make for me anymore. And also, if you have a course or you're building a course, which I know some of you might, it replaces Kajabi, or ClickFunnels, where we built out our courses and membership sites. You can build a membership site, you can build a website, you can build funnels, you can build surveys, you can build forms, you can build opt-in pages. It is ridiculous. Basically, everything that's been a pain in our ass over the past few years, this Alchemist Leads does it for us, and you can track it all. It all is connected. When somebody goes to the landing page, puts in their information, you can now send them an email automatically. Anybody ever get an email from us automatically before and thought, wow, that was clever? Obviously, it wasn't me. That was an automation that either Dorina or Ron Bowling set up. So Alchemist Leads for $97 a month, you become an unstoppable marketing force. And because we created it, you can ask us what we're doing and how it works and how to improve your business. This is my next step for Building Millionaires. Building Millionaires takes sales. There's no getting around it. You need to know sales. You need to have sales. And in order to have sales, and like, even if you're the greatest converter, like say you're Dr. Terry Wager and you can close anybody. If it wasn't for me putting people in front of Dr. Terry Wager, he wouldn't be closing anybody. Does that make sense? I know this is recorded, but Terry's not here right now, so I can say it. I don't care how good you are at sales. Sales is nothing if you can't get somebody on the phone. So Alchemist Leads handles that problem, and we'll just keep training you on sales. What else is going on in your world? Let's give Mark a round of applause, and Ron a round of applause, and Dorina a round of applause, because we're stealing all their knowledge. We're putting it into a place so that you can have it without having to do any of the work. But I will say, you still got to put the list in. Hands to camera recognize we haven't done that for you yet. That's the future. We're coming up with it. What else is going on in your world? We got 2 minutes. What share would you like to drop out there? Or is there a question you'd like to ask?
With seller financing, right? Say I wanted to negotiate a deal in today's, world. So the seller's not going to get like a lump sum right away, right?
It depends on how you set it up.
Okay.
What structure are you looking for?
Just say I wanted to buy a house from somebody who wanted 500, fair market value, but agreed to take a lower interest rate to make this deal work. Like, what would I say that, what would be the next step, I guess? I'd have to put this in a contract with him, and I would just make monthly payments to them, or say 10% down and then monthly payments on that. Like, what does that look like? I just don't know how to even pitch it.
Exactly. It's pretty basic. People, first of all, you go to the seller and say, will you hold paper? And then tell you my personal situation. The guy that I bought my law firm business from, he had a mortgage on the property for $75,000. So the first time I asked him, he said, no, I have a mortgage on the property. So I said, what if I paid $75,000 as a down payment and then made payments to you after that? And he was happy with that. So at the closing, we paid off his first mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then on, he was just like any other lender. He's just on there as a loan. People sometimes get a little mixed up because it sounds like the seller, but you can treat it almost like a third-party lender. They're just lending you money, and it's just I actually drafted the promissory note and the mortgage. He never even looked at it. I signed it. I recorded it. And then every month I would go and pay him early. So he was super happy about that. So I paid him on the 23rd.
And then eventually, did you refi out and pay him a lump sum?
Yeah, okay. He was disappointed. I was showing up on the 23rd every month with a check. And then one day I said, hey, I'm refinancing. He's like, what? Why? But I got it into a regular institutional lender and refinanced and paid him out.
I see.
Pretty simple.
Let's give Michael Shine a round of applause. Hey, was that a valuable response?
Yes, very. Thank you very much.
Very welcome. And there are any of a dozen. We've done seller financing a number of times on our deals. Some involve literally no money. The seller doesn't care. They just want, like Mike said, just, getting a monthly payment. And we've had others where seller only did partial seller financing, where we did like a $60,000 second mortgage versus the first mortgage. And we used traditional financing to grab the first position, the full 90 or 80% we used. It was 80%. So depending on your deal, depending on like what the seller's goal is, if the seller wants cash, like, yeah, then work with them to figure out like how much cash are they looking for, like what are they going to do with it, and what's the return on investment they're going to get with it. If you can get them a 6% or a 7 or 8% return on investment, then it may make more sense to just sit it with you. If it's going to move their cash from one account to another account, then it's a good conversation to have. You want to know what their goals are before you offer anything.
Like, Walter, what were the two things? I know that one of them is a tax benefit because they're not going to get whacked on a lump sum, but then there was some other reason that sellers, that when you
Passive
pitch it
income.
to-
I mean, just
Yeah,
the passive income is
There you
cool.
go. Monthly check. Yep.
Yeah. Like what else would you invest in that's going to give you that monthly check? Like it's good enough for me. Tax benefit, eliminate the monthly hit, immediate hit in that tax year. And then they also get a relationship with you. Like there's a lot of reasons that are kind of subtle, and you can play off of that depending on what disc profile they are, what their motivations are, and what their challenges are. So just be listening, when you're in negotiations. It's more about what you hear, not what you say, that will get you there.
On that relationship part, crazy if they trust that you're borrowing money from them, they usually will come to you with their other 7 properties that they own. And then you're found like one person, then you don't have to look for any more, keep buying from the same seller.
Familiar story, Mike? Done this before?
I've seen it at the closing table, let's put it that way.
We ended up picking up 3 properties from a seller finance deal. So definitely, you don't know what they own, especially if they're willing to do seller financing. Like they're typically an investor. Like typically they have some sort of investment knowledge. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go live on Facebook with Wealth Principles 17 in 3, 2, 1, and welcome. Oh, nice job in recording. Let's give Dorina a round of applause. Welcome back to the 52 Weeks of Wealth. This is Wealth Principles 17. Now, Wealth Principle 17 is offer high ticket items or deal in high volume sales, or both. That is offer high ticket items or deal in high volume sales, or both. We're going to talk about a perfect example of a product we just launched, actually 2 products we just launched simultaneously that are a version of high ticket sales and or high volume sales. Hands to the camera if you sell something. Before we get into it, I want to make sure I know who here sells something. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. So the wealth principles are designed to move you forward in increasing income with less time and increasing your net worth. Hands to the camera if you're down to do both, all 3. Increase your income with less time and increase your net worth. Now the goal is to do this in 1 year, which is why we leverage every single week. Every single week in the 52 Weeks of Wealth is leverage to build an asset in here and in your business. This principle is going to lighten up the one product that you are selling. This one product can have 2 versions. Like I will share later on today with the product we just launched within Alchemist Nation. Your product is going to have 2 versions as well, a high ticket version and also a high volume version, something that you can sell to a lot of people who don't necessarily need that high end product. Hands to the camera if you know what I'm talking about. Excellent, excellent. Now in business, real estate investing, in life, in relationships, we've got all of these. In real estate, if you don't know my story, then I will share really quickly. I built a business in real estate. I wrote the book, broke to $250,000, get the deal. These are books that were based on my story of, look, I didn't have any money. I wanted to get money. Hands to the camera if you've ever been there. She didn't have money. I wanted to get money. Awesome. Get the deal was based on finding deals, because I recognized in real estate, the way to make the most money was in the property. People had all their cash, all the money that they wanted to give me was in a house. All I had to do was put my name on the deed, and then they would give me all the money. The bank would give me the money. Mike's got the shirt right there. Names on deeds. So when thinking about how we increase our income, just know that in cases like real estate, it's already there in a house. Sometimes the seller can't see it. It's just a challenge. They can't see it. They don't know it's there, but it is. You have to see it. You have to know. That's why we do our math. That's why we buy 70% ARV on flips. That's why we buy 80% ARV on multifamilies, because we know that 20% equity is sitting in there. It makes it desirable for us to buy. Hands to camera if that's true. Yes. And passive income, we can have a bunch of little deals that are bringing us money in, or we can have one big slam dunk deal that brings us money in. The big high ticket products could be something along the lines of a flip that drops in $50,000, $100,000 profit, or a large deal like the one Ron and I are working on drops in $2 to $3 million in profit. Or we could do the holding of one of those deals, which brings in, $50,000 a month, or traditional three family would bring in about $1,000 a month. Hands to the camera if you recognize that's every month. That's passive income every single month. We like that stuff. Awesome. When I started building wealth, you may be able to relate to this. I did not like the fact that I had to show up and work. I didn't like the hours that I was trading, and it didn't seem like I could change or exchange my time, my value for anything else. It was just hours. It's all I really seemed to want in the beginning. I would go into a company like Johnson & Johnson or Computer Associates or Walmart, and I would tell them, this is what I believe I'm worth. And we would be talking in terms of dollars and hours. They never told me, well, if you finish this project, we'll give you $100,000 at the end of the year. It was always pay you $22 an hour or $18 an hour or $24 an hour. And eventually I thought I was doing well when I got to $30 an hour and $40 an hour when I was at Johnson & Johnson. And the interesting thing now is I look back and I think I was just allowed to be paid to be a slave. I was working hourly because it was the only product I had. I didn't have a high ticket item. I didn't have something I could sell that was beyond my hours. And I have many VAs on the call here. Let's give my VAs a round of applause. Yeah. And I know who else works hourly, has worked for an hourly wage? Anybody on the call? Yes. Okay. So we're all very familiar with the process. Many of us still have opportunities to work hourly. The hourly wage is enough to get you by. It's important. You need it. It helps pay the bills. Ron and I were working on the Millionaire Path this weekend. And as we were writing down, like if somebody has no money or somebody has 15,000 or if they got 50,000 or 100,000, as we're working on the Millionaire Path, we started realizing like if you have literally no money and no job, you need a freaking job. You need to trade dollars for hours, right? In the beginning, like if there's nothing coming in, there's no passive income and you got bills coming up or you're homeless, a job is a glorious thing to have. Hands to camera if you recognize that's true. Homelessness sucks. It would be terrible to be out on the streets. So having some sort of passive income, or not passive, but you put in the hours, is good. And then as he and I were going along the process, we started thinking, if we're giving this advice here, when do you stop telling people to have a job? Like at what point do you shift? Like what income level, what net worth does it make sense to say, okay, like you don't need this anymore? Because we're dialing it down. There's over 50 different results that come out from this program. It's actually 9 times 7 times 5 different options. It's a lot. It's just a lot that it can put out. And we're not finished building it. But the idea behind teaching somebody, automating somebody how to build wealth is you have to have a very good understanding of where they're at and what their skill set is also. So this concept of trading dollars for hours only works in the beginning, and then it shifts to a point where I can't give you guys the details yet. Ron and I are still figuring this out, but it shifts to a point where suddenly it makes sense to kind of automate or pull out of that because you have a skill set now that is saleable for more. In one shot, in one sale, you can beat an entire year's worth of salary. My first example, when I was maybe 2016, 2015, I sold one of my properties. I made $50,000 on the sale. Prior to that, I'd always earned a $40,000 a year hour, like 40-hour work week got me to $40,000. Hence the camp, if you recognize I made more from one sale than I did in an entire year of working. At that point, I recognized that I could just do that. One deal a year. One deal a year could pay all my bills. And then I would be fine to do whatever else I want throughout the rest of the year, as long as I stayed in the same budget. We understand this works. This is a cool principle, cool process. All right, we're not even touching the script. This is kind of the basics to the Millionaire Path, what Ron and I have been working on. For you, in your business right now, I want you to drop in the chat, do you have a high ticket item or a high volume item? I want you to identify which one is yours. If you have both, cool, you can list both. But if you don't have both, most people usually struggle to identify the second one. They usually have one, but they don't always have the other. So an example of high ticket item would be a car, a house, a flip, you could do coaching. If you do coaching and you charge more than $5,000, they consider that high ticket items. If you're in construction and you're doing, $100,000 profit on your projects, cool, that's high ticket. If you're just over there fixing the leaky faucet, high volume. Hence, camera for catching this. We understand the difference. Okay, excellent. So high ticket, I see high ticket, I see high volume. Excellent. Need volume. Oh, Jamie, awesome. So need volume. Marketing coming soon. We actually, Mark and I have been looking at installing a process just for attorneys, installing an automated process just for law practices, because obviously we've partnered up with Mike Shine and Alchemist Title. So Jamie, coming soon, we'll actually be able to release a conversation series that is just for attorneys. That's alchemistleads.com. And if you haven't checked it out, 30 days free trial, no plug necessary. All right, we got high ticket items, both. Nice, Melanie. She sells sandwiches, she sells rentals, and you do your flips. So what is your high ticket item, Mel? I want to know which one you're seeing in your head as high ticket. You got a lot going on.
Flips. Yeah.
Flips, there they are. Give her a round of applause. It's true. Flips are one of our high ticket items as well. It's definitely one of our favorites because it's just slam dunk, no big deal, run it through. High ticket, both. Okay, a lot of people doing high ticket items. Offer passive investing opportunities for syndication, self-storage facilities. Masha, I don't know what that is as far as high ticket or high volume. That is, I would assume that's high volume, right? You're just taking a whole bunch of people's money and slamming it into something. As far as income, you and them are getting small income. You're getting what would be considered high volume. Excellent. Now I want you to write down on the other side. So on a piece of paper, write down the one that's strong for you. A lot of people said high ticket and a few people said high volume. And I'm going to give you an example of a product, a singular product that allows us to do both. Alchemist Leads is something we launched today. We launched it yesterday. And Alchemist Leads is a marketing system. It's a CRM that allows you to automate follow-up with people. Hand scan, if you know, all the money is in the follow-up. You've heard that before. And the truth is it's 75% of all the money that a salesperson, that a business makes is in the follow-up. 75% for real estate investors who are listening, of the deals you close, the deals that are brought to you, were in follow-up conversations. They were not in initial contact. So if you want a physical representation of what that looks like, you could earn $10,000 a month, or you could only earn $30,000 a year. Which one makes you happier? The $10,000 a month means you followed up with people, and the $30,000 a year means you didn't follow up. Hands can for catching us. Good representation. It's easy. Follow up is time consuming. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of effort, unless you have a system that does it. Alchemist Leads does, we just talked about this with our mentorship students literally right before this call. Alchemist Leads does the text messages, it does the emailing, it does the Facebook messaging, the ringless voicemail drops. It tells you when to call a person, and it allows you to respond back right there within the system or on the app. It has a calendar, it has your funnel builder. If you're in the digital marketing space, you know what that is. It has forms so you can collect data on your clients and then serve them better instead of having to call everybody and saying, hey, how is this? What is this? What is this? You can create application forms so that they can fill out. So for anybody who's raising private capital, hands can for raising private capital, if you're doing any deals, allowing other investors in, having an accreditation form is amazing. It protects you and it saves you time. Hey, fill this out if you're accredited. And if they're not accredited, to say, hey, you're not accredited, go take a course on Alchemist Nation, get your ass accredited, go make money. But kidding, not kidding. Seriously, if you're not accredited, you need to join the mentorship and go learn how to make your first $1 million. But if you are accredited, it'll go right into your system and say, this person filled out your form, which means they're interested in learning more about what you invest in. So now you can contact them. So we have form building, we have website building, you can have membership sites. If you want to offer a membership area within your business for your clients, you can actually have a membership site that you can host training, host resources. If you have investors, if you're raising capital for investors, you can literally host an area in there where they can see your deals. Only they could see your deals. They'd have to go in, log in. You can email out deals automatically. So as soon as a deal comes in, you just hit your accredited investor list. There's a lot of different ways to do it. For wholesalers, obviously, you know what you're going to do. You're going to hit everybody on the list. Pull your list, drop it in. Every seller is going to get hit with, I'd like to buy your house. Are you ready to sell yet? Mark and I are working on really cool value add stuff to add in there too. Like, hey, did you know might be able to refinance your house and get some equity out right now? Or interest rates are on the rise. Or have you rechecked your home insurance policy and make sure that you're getting the right insurance? So different little things to be value add, but also we've got businesses attached to those as well. Let's give all of our team a round of applause. All of our partners, all our team members. That is a high volume product. It costs $97 per month, but you're getting a lot of it. You can sell a lot of that because there's wholesalers are a dime a dozen. Wholesalers have a ton of bad systems, and this saves wholesalers somewhere between, I'll say on the low side, $200 to $300, but for Ron and I, somewhere closer to $500 to $800 a month, which adds up to a lot of money at the end of the year. So it's a great product for high volume sales. Now, I had a conversation with two of my favorite clients last night, Melanie Santos and her husband, Steve Cutt, and then Saeed Khan. And Chris was not on the call, but me and Saeed and Chris are going to jump on a call sometime next week. And I offered them, what if I brought you leads and we closed on something with $250,000 equity in it, and you just pay me $25,000 up front? And both were like, yes, of course. And then I said, and we're going to get on a one-on-one coaching call each week to make sure that your business, we can talk about anything as long as we also talk about this deal that's closing. As long as we talk about this deal that we're working on to close, I'll coach and build your business with you for as long as it takes me. This is almost my curse, but also my blessing. For as long as it takes me to get you your $250,000. Hence the camera, if that's like an amazing deal, it's 10x return on investment. So, I'm not offering that to everybody. That is only Melanie. It is Saeed. The people I've had a conversation with one-on-one, I offered it because I know that they can handle it. I know they can handle more deals. I know they can handle the projects. And then I offered, if you don't have the money to buy those, I'll raise the capital for another $25,000. Hence the camera, if that seems like a bargain, if that's a steal of a deal, you get $250,000 worth of equity and it only costs $50,000 up front. A lot of people don't have $50,000 up front. My suggestion is go get it, right? That's scary if you understand, like go get it, like teach sales, I teach sales for a reason. Run the sell, get that money, borrow the money if you have to. That is a product that I'm looking at creating down the road. We're offered it to a few of our players. Those are the high ticket items. Now, what am I going to use? I'm going to use the CRM I just built. I'm literally going to use the CRM I just built. And I'm going to have some of my team members do a little bit of extra work on the back end to make sure deals close so that our high ticket, our high value clients don't have to go and do those things. Because in that space, Starbucks has a perfect example. Mike loves this story. Starbucks sells coffee, but they also have a coffee machine that you can buy. And that coffee machine, Mike, do you remember the price of that coffee machine, what it costs?
I think it was 27,000.
2,700 or 27,000?
2,700. 2,700.
Let's give my shine around applause. 2,700. And everybody at some point has been through Starbucks. You know what their coffee costs. They're not $2,700, but that's their high ticket item. It's take it home with you. You build coffee for the rest of your life. For our business, we'll just do it all for you. You just sign the paperwork. Like, I'll see you at the closing table. Hence, if you recognize you could do this too. It's the same thing you do in your business. It's just the high ticket is a little more customer service. And if you're I saw a lot of people are selling high ticket items. What is your lower customer service product? What is the hands-off, almost nothing there kind of product? So for whichever one you haven't created yet, let's just use this right now as a moment to do an exercise together. Let's think it through so that you can create it. Hence, if you know what I'm talking about here, we're doing the opposite of what we already have. So if we already have a high ticket, we're going down and creating a high volume, low ticket. It'd be easy to sell. Some examples would be training courses. Recorded training courses is something that Ron and I sold for a long time. We sold names on deeds for $97. And that was just, hey, whatever you need to learn all the stuff, go get it, $97. As a real estate agent, I would say working rentals was an option that was, high volume, worked a whole bunch of rentals, got some money. Other high volume would be selling toothpaste tubes versus being a dentist. Selling toothpaste and toothbrushes. There's a lot of different ways for you to make high volume a lot. Then there's the high ticket is really, really important to making it all work out. We sell a mastermind. The mastermind is $25,000 a year. And that mastermind is for the players who want to play together. It really is all about just creating a barrier of entry to everybody else and saying, in this group, we play hard. So that's a high ticket item. We also have the mentorship, which is $2,000 a month, $2,000 a year, which comes out to less than $200 a month. That to us is considered high volume, even though it's for some people, it may seem high ticket. In the speaking world, 5,000 is high ticket. 5,000 up is high ticket. Anything under 5,000 is considered low ticket. Hands camera, if that makes sense. Your space has to have both, because some people will just want that high end and some people will just want that low end. Some people will just kind of want a little bit of both. Some people are like our hyper buyers, buy everything. Your best clients are going to want both versions of what you got going on. And that's okay too. Hands camera, if anybody has a problem with this, everybody got to go through this. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. High ticket or high volume. Now, in your business, there are going to be challenges. There are going to be things that come up. You must face them. And one of those things that comes up is, well, what if the product doesn't sell itself? Well, get a better product or change the perception of the product, change the way the product is perceived in the marketplace. You are constantly changing your product is such a pain in the butt, but if you don't believe in it, you do have to change it. But if you believe in it, if people are using it, if you had past clients say, yes, this is something that works for me, like the mentorship. Occasionally, Ron and I look at the mentorship, we say, it hasn't moved moved this, we haven't sold it this week. Is that a sign that it's not a great product, or is it a sign that the marketing around it has to change? And so Ron and I are actually going to shift the name of the mentorship over to Jumpstart, because we notice that successful real estate investors, successful coaches, successful business owners who want to reach out to don't like the idea of mentors because they're already successful. Hence, Karen, if that makes sense. Like, come on, I'm older than you. Like, what's going on here? Why are you a mentor? So we're shifting it to Jumpstart, which is much easier to sell because we know on the back end, this program changes people's lives. It's an accountability program. It's about, here's the knowledge, here's let's go get it. And it's been extremely successful for a lot of people. So your product may not need to change, but how you message it, how you market it could be the single most important aspect to your business's growth. And Karen, if that made sense, or if you want me to repeat that. All right, excellent. Now, every week we do a book. We do a book of the week. The 52 Weeks to Wealth would be nothing if it wasn't for our 52 books. We read a book a year for a reason. It puts us ahead of all the other suckers out there who only read one book a year. The average American reads one book a year and they don't even finish chapter 1. In this community, we read one book a week, which gives us a 52-1 advantage. And even if you only read one book every 2 weeks, you'd still have a 26 times advantage over the average person. And if you only read one book a month, you'd still have a 13 time advantage over the average person. Hands to the camera if you like unfair advantages. Oh yeah. All right, so this book is a thick one. It's a tough one. If you can't get through it, don't worry. Mike Shine didn't either. Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause, the keeper of the books. Mitch Jorsky, have you read Principles by Ray Dalio?
Mike's handing off the baton.
Yeah.
Just this week, brother. Don't get used to it.
Oh, I think it's because he knows. I think he knows because this is like my Bible.
Yeah.
So yes.
Every year.
Principles, Ray Dalio. Oh wait, this is the wrong book. This is the wrong book. That's the wrong book. That's not the book we're talking about. That's a
What
much
book is
shorter
that?
read, much easier
What
read.
book was that?
That was Scaredy Cat Guide to Knowing What the Heck Bitcoin Is.
And why would you share that with us, Mitch? Do you have something coming up that we should know about?
There might be a crypto workshop coming up on June 1st.
And how would we find out about that crypto workshop, Mitch?
Go to Alchemist Nation /events and scroll to June 1st and see Crypto Workshop, 7 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours of crypto crazy.
By the way, before we talk about the book of the week, let's give Mitch a round of applause. Selling in a group like this, in a room like this, is so difficult because, especially for Mitch, we were on a call this week with a mastermind. Mitch, you ready for this? We're on a call
here we go.
Mastermind with Steve Rizzo was in it. Ken Walls was in it. And Steve Rizzo told Mitch, he's like, Mitch, you got to believe in yourself. And he's got this crazy New York accent. He's like, Mitch, you got to believe in yourself, right? You really got to get out there and you really got to just believe. You believe it's possible. And you got to know you got a great product. And it sounds like you do. You got a great product. You got to just believe in yourself. I was like, Mitch, maybe you should believe in yourself and sell something, right? Create a crypto course for our community. Let's give Mitch a round of applause so that our community can get educated on what's going on in crypto right now. So that was Alchemist Nation /events, alchemiststation.com/events, and go to crypto course June 1st.
June 1st.
All right, let's give Mitch one more round of applause. Amazing job. Thank you, Mitch. If you don't sell, they don't have the tools. It's necessary in your business. By the way, this is for everybody. If you don't go out and sell what you believe in, what product you have, somebody is missing out. If Jen wasn't offering ghostwriting, there would be 100 books that don't exist 2 years from now. 2 years from now, after we've built our first 100 authors, there would be 100 books that don't exist. And if you recognize, books change lives. Like, that's how people learn when they only got $7 or $10 or $14, or in the case of some of my books, $24, $30. Let's give Jen a round of applause. What you sell is important. Same with the mentorship. Imagine if I didn't sell the mentorship, right? If I didn't sell it, I wouldn't have been able to pay for the Zoom and all the assets that we've been building, Alchemist Nation, Alchemist Leads, Alchemist Events. I wouldn't be able to pay for all these cool things we do to level people up. So I have to sell. You have to sell. There's something that you want to do in this world that's got to change it, that you've got to sell in order to pay for it. Hands camera if that makes sense. All right. I know for Steve Cutt, it's Christmas lights, right? More Christmas lights. Mitch Jorsky, Principles by Ray Dalio, the book of the week. Bring it to us, brother.
This book is no joke. As you can see, it is pretty much the size of the Bible. In it, he has two key sections. One is life principles and the other is work principles. So within his two life and work principles, he has kind of an overarching theme of what, is his operating manual on life. And one big piece of that is radical transparency. So he believes that essentially things are more efficient, things are more profitable, things are joyous when everyone just gets their information out there. That's how we can be better and do better, is by having the information to see, all right, how do we do it better next time? So in this book, he's got a bunch of chapters, obviously, but there was one in particular that I want to touch on, whose name I forgot. So in Life Principles, he basically talks about a 5-step process he uses to get what he wants out of life. Obviously, I'm not going to get into those 5 steps. And then when he talks about his work principles, and you can kind of see it with Alchemist Nation, he talks about building the culture, building the right culture. And for him, what this culture was, this environment of radical transparency. Walter's built a culture of think a million, think a million. And also on top of that, be inspired to be a millionaire that builds a millionaires and build 100 millionaires, right? That's why mission the millions. So anyway, it's funny because he is obviously one of the top hedge fund managers to ever live. So you would think it would be more just a financial book, but it does get somewhat esoteric. But either way, worth the read, even though it's a biggie. You got more than a week to read this one. So, but worth it.
Let's give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. And everybody who takes on Ray Dalio's principles, you get the biggest accomplishment from me and Mitch. This is one of the books that he and I both really enjoyed. I read it because I'm absolutely obsessed with anybody who's been extremely successful in anything. And so I spend a lot of time in just digging deep into their lives, their principles, what they're doing. And when Ray Dalio put out his book Principles, it was like, that's exactly what I was looking for. just hand me the principles that have worked out for you. And he's got another book that just came out, Life Principles. And Life Principles is really good as well. For this week, I want you to go forward and I want you to think about, if you created a new product, I want you to think about it. If you have to reposition an old product, say you already have a high ticket sales product or a high volume sales product, I want you to reposition it, test it out, just see what it would look like in the marketplace. If there's a different wording or a different way of saying it, or if there's a presentation you can put out there. And if you run something like a hair salon or a Subway shop, then your presentation may simply be your atrium. It may just be what people feel when they walk in through the store. It may be, like my grandmother said, the entryways, the hallways are the face of the house. It's that greeting, it's that handshake, it's that hug, it's that kiss to a family member. So make sure that when they're coming through the front door, they're getting a different experience. They may pay more. They may come in more often. They may take a selfie in your place. Can you get them to take a selfie in your place? And scan, if you recognize, the goal is always to get somebody to share your stuff. Excellent. In fact, if you want to do me a huge favor today, share this feed with anybody who's in business or anybody who wants to earn more money. So this feed is on Facebook, it's on YouTube, but share it with somebody or share it to a group that you know is money motivated. Do not share this call into any broke groups. Don't drop this into your grew up in Fall River groups or grew up in Brockton groups. This is something you would drop into make money and get rich groups or real estate investing success, something along those lines. Hands to the camera if we grasp that. But do it and drop it in as many as you can, but don't get kicked off of Facebook. That number seems to be around 35, 45 groups. So just so you know, I've hit that one myself, but share it to a couple of groups. It would do me a huge favor and it would build our community. Handscan, if you know, all the money you want is in the hands of other people. So the bigger we make this community, the more money opportunities we have. Handscan, if you know, all the deals you want are in the hands of other people right now. Oh yeah. So if we want more deals, we grow the size of the community. And if you want people to do the deals for you, if you're like Mike Shine, myself, and Ron, if you want somebody to do the deals for you, hands can, if you know, all the labor is in the hands of other people. It better be. So the more we share what we're doing here every Saturday, the more people we bring in and the more people we invite to Saturdays, the more potential hands could do the projects for us, partners who could do the work for us, or I pray and I hope this happens for every one of you. Maybe family members decide they want to work with you. Maybe family members decide that they trust you, they like you enough that they want to work with you, and you can actually build a business like Saeed Khan and his brother have built, and their brother-in-law now has built, where they're actually working together to increase their income as a family, and the sisters involved. And that's what I hope for each one of you who has a family you actually like enough to work with. Hands to camera if you know it's okay not to. I only work with one of my family members. My dad does all my listings back in Fall River, and I love it. It's great. And everybody else in my company has become family members because the rest of my family didn't want to do anything with me. Does that make sense? It's okay. I got 30 family members just within our group of strategic partners. And then I got this amazing community, which is the extended family, our cousins, our nieces, aunts, and uncles who like to hang out with us when we do our live events. So let's give yourselves a round of applause. We're on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. I couldn't do it without you. Each one of you shares and involves in your own way. I was talking to Melanie Santos yesterday, and I was like, Melanie, look, you be building millionaires just by building your wealth because you're partnering with people. She's partnering, she's doing deals with people. There's a lot of different ways to build millionaires, and some of them make you a multi-millionaire. Hence, Karen, if you're okay with that, if you could handle it, if you're ever going that path, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you. Choose your success, your choice. Always work with the best.